First, I'd like to say Merry Christmas to everybody who is watching me. I have been sort of spacing out these videos. I know that you are probably engaged in a lot of merrymaking during the holidays, so I didn't want to bombard you with a whole bunch of videos that you probably don't have time to watch. So I slowed down the videos during the holiday season here. Today I want to I'm sure this video is reaching you probably too late. The message of this video is reaching you probably way too late. But I want you to keep in mind and keep this for the future. You can bookmark this video, and hopefully this video will be something that you live by in the future going forward. And this will apply to Valentine's Day, birthdays, what have you. So the title of the video is Celebrating Christmas as If You Were Rich, or the leisure class. So what is the leisure class? The leisure class are those people who are so wealthy that they do not have to work at all. Ever at all. There, in thinking about making this video, I ran across some very stupid sayings. There are a lot of sayings that trickle down through the society, and it gets presented in such a way that people think that it was somebody common that made it, like some ordinary wise old man said it. So one of the sayings is that you're not a man if you don't work. Most of these sayings that I ever research have always come from the rich trickling down to the poor to keep the poor in check. So the saying that I'm thinking about is that you are not a man if you don't work. Of course, the leisure class would say this to poor people because the concept of being in the leisure class should be foreign to poor people, right? The idea that you do not have to work and that you just simply live your life eating, drinking, making merry, and keeping busy doing hobbies or whatever should be foreign to the poor. That is you, most likely, right? Of course, I was destined to be among the leisure class, but things didn't quite work out that way. So why am I talking about that? That means that if you destroy a poor person's dreams, goals, ambition, and their brain, ultimately, you can keep them in check. You can keep them poor, you can keep them working. So if you say to yourself, I have to always work, I always have to work, then you will make that truth, right? So you've heard about the secret. Oprah tries to say that she came up with it, or she's a big proponent of it. It's not something that Oprah came up with. The secret is just basic practical psychology. If you believe in something, your brain will go about doing things subconsciously to make that a reality for you. So if you say a man is not a man unless he works, then you will always work in your life, and you will never make enough money where you can join the leisure class. Now, another thing about the leisure class, everybody talks about the Jews. Oh, they're so wealthy, they're so rich. And I have said this in another video. First of all, the number of Jews, the people who call themselves Jews, which are white people, there's not some other race, they're Europeans. They came from the Khazarian Empire, which is located in Europe. They converted to Judaism. Theirs was, from the very beginning, a plan to take over in their own little right. Now, there was only a few of those people. Imagine if the Parisians of, let's go back 100 years ago when there weren't a whole bunch of Muslims and black people and Africans and all that sort of stuff there. Let's go back to 100 years, and let's say, for example, the Parisians decided they would take over the art world, which which they really tried to. Paris is one of the centers of fine art and performing art, and even the cooking arts even. So imagine if they tried to take over the world. There's not that many Parisians to go around. And I'm telling you, there's not that many Jews to go around. The people that you want me to, there are people I receive messages of people that's Jew. It's not Jews. Jews are in control of crap. There are maybe 100 Jews in Hollywood. There's maybe 100 Jews on Wall Street. Maybe, and I'm stretching it because there's actually probably 30 Jews in Hollywood and probably 15 Jews on Wall Street. And the people who call themselves Jews, who have absolutely nothing in connection with being Jewish, if you know what I mean, might be in Hollywood and might also be in on Wall Street. They are not in control of anything. They have no plans of world domination. And I'm here to tell you, it's not the Jews. So forget the Jews. I want you to concentrate on the leisure class. And you know who the leisure class is? It's WASPs. It's white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. People who have been here for 200 years. Their families have been here for 200 years. You don't know them. You never hear their name. You never hear them mentioned. They don't go out in public. They don't twerk on national TV. They don't get reality TV shows, although she might be part of the leisure class, Paris Hilton. They don't do that. Or they really don't do that. I don't know how they convinced her to go about that. And for the most part, they're pretty conservative, even the young ones. So those are the people that a lot of things are based on today. And what do I say a lot of things are based on? So we're at Christmas, right? And I'm going to make this generic. We're at a holiday. Christmas is actually a pagan holiday that the Catholic Church turned into Christmas, the birth of Christ. The Christ wasn't born in December 25th at all. So if you're gonna know something about your own church, first of all, right? So we're celebrating this pagan holiday, the winter solstice, and the winter festival, and the day squarely in the middle of winter to have a festival, so that the people who are hibernating in their homes that are surrounded by snow don't get cabin fever and go out and then start murdering their families and their neighbors and friends, right? And that's the whole point of the holiday. That was the real point of the pagan holiday. The pagan people, though, the people we call pagans, the people who celebrated the winter solstice knew from general psychology, just everyday observation and wisdom, that at the middle of the winter, have a festival and have it last for about a week or two. Have people eat so that they don't go hungry, they don't go stir crazy, and they don't start murdering all their friends and families, right? So the leisure class, since we took over Christmas, we the Christians, right? We the Catholic Church took over Christmas and supplanted our alleged birth of Jesus, which he was not born on the 25th of December, onto this pagan holiday, and we supplanted our own people to be relieved of this going stir crazy in the winter time. The rich would give gifts to the poor. A lot of these traditions are rich people doing stuff. There is a barrage of marketing on TV, radio, magazines, what have you, of traditions that the leisure class, you can transpose that into, say, the rich class, the upper class, do stuff, what they do, and putting it on poor people. So instead of a ginormous television that has all the bells and whistles, but what have you, it trickles down, and so now poor people go out and spend their hard-earned cash on some TV that they don't need and give it to somebody who couldn't afford it either. So a lot of this stuff trickles down the tree, right? You have just this barrage in the media of trying to have the traditions of the leisure class hoisted onto the poor people. And this is just another way, of course, to keep you poor. I know of a story of a guy who did not have the best job. He made 20-something thousand dollars a year, and I overheard him say that for Christmas he put it all on his credit card, buying his daughter, his baby daughter, who's all of 2 or 3 or something like that years old, and he was $14,000 in debt just for one Christmas. That is ridiculous. This is what the media does to the poor. All of these things that the leisure class does, they're supplanted and put onto the poor, and then they make the poor think that if they do not do these things, that they're not good fathers, they're not good husbands, they're not good fiancés. And speaking of fiancés, let's talk about the biggest lie that there ever was, and that is the diamond engagement ring. The diamond ring was given to a duchess by a duke for as a wedding gift, right? Before that, nothing had ever been given to the woman at all. There was no such thing. There was no presents or none of this, the bridal shop, none of this for the common people. Now, this particular duke happened to be very wealthy, and and a lot of people don't understand the titles. There's king, lord, duke, duchess, marquis, what have you. While a king might be over everything, he might be completely broke. And you can have a duke, which is like the first tier of the titles, be fabulously wealthy. It just so happens this particular duke was fabulously wealthy. He was always given lavish parties and lavish gifts. And this happened to be one of the gifts. He invited everybody to his mansion, his palace, his estate. And in front of everybody, all the other dukes and lords and ladies, he presented his wife-to-be with a diamond wedding ring, right? A diamond engagement ring. The next year or so, now you have all the other dukes, lords and lady, giving their wives-to-be diamond engagement rings also. This stupid thing trickled down, so now you have people who make $30,000 a year spending $5,000 on a diamond engagement ring. Why? You're not some duke, you're not a baron, you're not a marquis. Why are you doing that? It's because you're stupid. You have let the leisure class and the media draw you into this paradigm that is not true for you. You are not a duke. You don't need to act like a duke. You don't need to act like somebody rich. Be who you are. And if your woman says she's not going to do anything to you unless you give her a diamond ring and a gold or platinum wedding ring, you need to drop her immediately. That should be the very first sign not to get with her. That should be the line drawn in the sand. You cross this line, it's over. I know everybody talks about love and you can give me a grass ring or we can jump over the broomstick. But when it comes down to it, they want a diamond wedding engagement ring. You're not a duke. Please show them this video. And that was just in the 1800s. Before that, there was no diamond engagement rings before that. There was none of that crap. This is the leisure class traditions and things that they did trickling down to the poor people. And so now poor people, poor women who don't have a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out of, expecting a diamond wedding engagement ring. It makes no sense. Cars. And this is the products that I'm talking about here. Cars, Christmas tree, gift giving in general. So let's go to the products, the big ticket items that were originally intended for the leisure class. Do you know there was a time when one person on the whole block had a telephone? One person on the whole block had a car. One person. Not every house, not everybody. In fact, there was a time when the store on the corner had the telephone, and the store would get the call and send a boy to go get the person to come take the call. So Mrs. Smith has somebody on the line asking for her. The drugstore owner sends little Billy to go get Mrs. Smith. And that's how it was. There wasn't a cell phone in everybody's pocket. I can't believe you're spending $300, $400, $500, $700 on a cell phone, and then turn around, you pay, and then you are financing this phone, which is ridiculous. You're financing this phone month to month, year after year, and then you turn around, a new model comes out. Has the old phone died? No, everything's perfectly fine with the phone. You get the new model, another $700, and it goes up and up and up and up. It's just like this the stupid gaming consoles, which was originally intended for leisure, people of leisure. When they broke out with the very first, what was it, PlayStation, when they announced how much it was going to cost, you could hear a gasp in the press corps. They did not believe that that would be even possible, nor successful, nor widespreadly acceptable. They didn't think that every Tom, Dick, and Harry would go out and buy a PlayStation at what was it, $400? Outrageous, crazy to spend that on a game. They were used to checkers back then, so to spend that on a game. You're going to spend that on a game. A game costs $10, and you could play it for life, right? You could buy a checker set. You could pass that down to your kids and grandkids. Now this thing breaks within a year or two, $400. They didn't understand. They didn't think people would go for it, but people are just that stupid. It's the power of marketing. Christmas trees. The entire notion of Christmas, of how we celebrate Christmas, is from the leisure class, the rich people. The entire idea of gift giving wasn't poor people to poor people. The entire idea of gift giving is rich people giving stuff at the Winter Festival to their workers, to the people that work for them, and to the poor. It was rich people giving gifts to poor people. It was not poor people giving gifts to people because they were poor, and they knew they were poor. You people don't know you're poor. You make $30,000 a year and you have no savings. None, no savings. And then I on Facebook I hear it all the time. Oh, you just don't understand. We have all these bills. Let's go over those bills. What leisure, luxury item are you paying for that you're financing? You're not supposed to do that. You shouldn't have it. Everything that I have, all of this stuff here, makes me money. There is nothing here that doesn't make me money. And if it doesn't make me money, I don't own it. At all. I don't own it at all. Telephone, don't own a telephone. Why? It doesn't make me money. When I get my real estate investment business going, I will have the entire package. Phone, iPad, laptop, the whole 9 yards. That's already that's planned and budgeted for. That's how I work. This idea of the leisure class and their traditions, I'm trying to make you recognize that this is where it comes from. It's not poor people giving stuff to poor people. It's not poor people buying these big ticket items. It's not poor people buying these luxury items. Everybody talks about, oh, back in the day, shoes really lasted. You could buy a pair of shoes and they would last you 10 years. So let's take a look at that. Why is it that shoes 50 years ago would last you for so long? Why? Because the shoes, first of all, were pretty expensive, number one. A lot of them were handcrafted, and all of the items inside of the shoe, all of the materials that the shoe was made out of, was quality items. The same thing with the old stereos, the old TV sets. They were quality materials put into it, and a lot of them were handmade. There might have been some sort of robotic things for making a TV, but at the end result, you have people actually screwing in the knobs themselves, screwing in the screws themselves by hand. Then they got the bright idea, you know what, this stuff costs way too much. We want a TV in every home. Have you heard of that? Have you heard that propaganda before? We want a TV in every home. Now the propaganda is we want a computer in every home. I think they're up to 40% of computers in a home. If you can imagine. And there's a lot of people who think everybody has a TV and everybody has a computer. They still don't have a TV in every home, and they are nowhere near having a computer in every home. These are things that the leisure class does, and the traditions that they have, that you have been bombarded with the marketing, so you go out and you do it. The way that poor people spent Christmas is, if they were going to give a gift, you know what they would do? They would handcraft it. And the only gift that they gave was something that people needed. They would knit a blanket. They would crochet a blanket. They would knit pillowcases. They would knit clothes. They would cobble shoes. This is what the poor would do. The poor would only give you something that you could use and had a practical purpose. There was no scooter, bicycle, doll. Well, there might be some dolls. There was no toys. It was stuff that you could use, stuff that you needed to survive, to live with, that made your life just slightly better than it was before. You might have been freezing in your house. Now you have 12 blankets to throw across your bed. You're okay at night. You might still be cold during the day, but at nighttime when your body temperature drops, you're under the covers, snuggled up under the covers that your neighbor made for you, or your grandmother or mother made for you. That's what Christmas was. Now, I've had those Christmases. I have knitted and sewn and crocheted and needlepoint stuff for people at Christmas, and that was the whole point of it. I went to some of these private schools, and this is what they taught me. They said Christmas was never about this going to the store and doing something. Christmas was about crafting stuff for people with love. So I would recommend that that's how you spend your Christmas. You can still give gifts, but only if they're handcrafted. That means men and women. I'm a man, so I handcrafted stuff myself. Men are always the best crafters. I know there's a lot of men out there who have this stupid notion that men don't do crafting. Men were the crafters. Women didn't do anything, almost anything. Women didn't do anything. They didn't cook. They cleaned. They took care of children. They made sure the house was running okay. But the men are the ones who sewed, did all the crafting, made shoes, made clothes, everything. And they still do. When you get to the professional level, it's just men. And all of those crafts, it's just men. Women want to break into it's a funny notion. Women want to break into those professions, but it's mainly men. So I said that to say, if you have some stupid notion of what a man is, you're not thinking straight. You're on this weird sort of macho level that is stupid. At the professional level, men are the answer. Men do it all. It's not women. Women aren't even in the picture. So this Christmas and Valentine's Day and Easter and what have you, make something for the person you love with your own hands. Sew it, needlepoint, crochet it, what have you. Cobble it, fix the car for them. That's something that is practical and more needed than a new trinket. And please stop buying these phones every other year. That's stupid. All right. Thank you for watching the Power News. Merry Christmas to everybody, or Happy Winter Solstice. Go out, have fun, take a walk, get out of the house, bundle up in all of your jackets and what have you if you're in a cold place. Go out, stretch your legs, do something fun, because the idea is that psychologists back in those days said if you stay in the house during the winter, you will get winter disease. I believe I actually have winter disease. I've been going stir crazy. If you've been following me on Facebook, I finally determined that that's what it was. I had cabin fever, and I was breaking out in hives and all sorts of crazy things. Go out, stretch your legs. If there's any sun shining whatsoever, try and get underneath it. Try and get it into your skin. And if there is a festival, go to it, have fun. It will relax the brain and it'll release the serotonin so that you can be happy. And that's what serotonin does. It's the happy drug that your brain releases for you. All right. I just wish everybody a fantastic Christmas and a happy New Year. Thank you for watching Power News.